Hey y'all, it's Kate Dobrinsky from the Office of Science, and I've been getting a lot of emails from teachers lately asking how to administer the new Science Quarterly Assessment. So we're just going to run through some of the ins and outs of administration of the test. First of all, you can give the test pencil and paper, or if you prefer to give it online, you can give it on Unify. The test should take about 30 minutes, but it's not a timed test. And the assessment window, is the last 15 days of the quarter. So you're going to want to make sure you get your Scantrons printed in that time period. The test comes in 2 packets, and the students must have both packets in order to take the test. One packet is the scenarios, which we'll talk about more in a minute, and the other packet is the actual questions. The questions is the packet that has the cover on the front. So there is a new format for this test. As I just said, there's a scenarios packet, and in that scenarios packet, there are 3 tabs. Tabs are documents that the students will use to help them formulate answers to the questions on the assessment. Got some emails from people asking why we're calling them tabs. The reason for that is because on the 5th grade MISA assessment, that's what they're called, because the assessment's online, so they have to click through different like window tabs in order to look at the different documents. So just for consistency, we're calling them tabs too, even on the pencil and paper test. And y'all, this is not a seek and find test. So this isn't where the students go into the documents and pull the answer out to answer the questions. In order to answer the questions on this test, the students are going to have to synthesize information. So all the stuff that you did in class, all those experiences and experiments and hands-on inquiry-based lessons, those pieces of information are going to have to come together with information from the tabs in order for them to completely answer the question. And any student can have the test read aloud to them. You heard me correct. We do prefer that you use Kurzweil to administer this read aloud. Kurzweil is really consistent, and using a non-human read aloud is more like what they are going to see on MISA. So on MISA, every kid will have the opportunity to click a little icon down in the bottom of the screen and have the test read aloud to them. So we are allowing that also on the district assessments. But we do know sometimes Kurzweil, is down, or you just don't have the technology to support that. So if you want to read it aloud to your whole class, you can do that. Or if you just want to pull your struggling readers to the back and read it to them, that's also fine. Or if you just want to say who would like the test read aloud to them and let the students kind of self-elect who wants to have that additional help, that's fine too. So the constructed response. Every test is going to have a constructed response question, an essay question. And you're going to be grading it using a new rubric. So in years past, we used the MSA rubric. That's gone. We have a whole new rubric, and I'll show you where to find it. I do want you to remember that you're supposed to be grading these responses for their content and for the science and engineering practices that are present in the responses. We're not grading them at all on their writing conventions. It's best to encourage your kids to write their answers as a paragraph, just because it's easiest to kind of like convey a complete answer as a paragraph. But if they answer the question as a bulleted list or a numbered list, we're not going to count that against them. On the constructed response, we weighted the question so that that question would be worth more than the other like multiple choice questions and things like that. So if you get your Scantron and you see that it has like some funny looking like decimal numbers, that's because we weighted the question. So you're still going to grade it and bubble the appropriate bubble, either 0, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on which rubric you're using. But if you see those little decimal numbers, don't be alarmed. It's just because we weighted that question. So that's it for that part. I am just going to go to Blackboard and navigate around a little and show you where to find things. So this is my Blackboard homepage. It probably looks a little different than yours because we have different enrollments, but over here on the left side is where the curriculum is, your curriculum link. Over on the right side is where your electronic learning communities are. Hopefully you are enrolled in elementary science. As you can see, I have a ton of enrollments, all very sciencey stuff, but here's my elementary science ELC. And I manage that area and I put all kinds of stuff in there. So you can find a lot of the assessment stuff over here on the left-hand side in the yellow tabs. But for ease of access, I'm just going to go back to the Blackboard homepage here. For ease of access, we did put everything into your curriculum area too, so that you wouldn't have to click around too much. So I'm just going to go to 5th grade. This would be the same for 3rd, 4th, or 5th, but I'm just going to go to 5th as an example. So when it opens up, you just go right down here to the little assessments tab. You're going to go to science. And then, so everything you need is in here. The first 2 documents on the top are the test itself. So if for some reason we accidentally didn't send you enough, or you got a couple new kids and you don't have enough assessments, feel free to print them from here. Underneath that is the assessment map, which I was telling you, it tells you which MISA rubric to use for your constructed response. And it'll tell you a lot of other information about each of the items, like where it's aligned in the curriculum, and what standard it aligns to, how many points it's worth, all that. Down here, this is the rubric. So the Office of Science Constructed Response Assessment rubric, that's the rubric you're going to use. So I'm just going to click on it so you can see. Excuse me. So all 3 rubrics are on here. So if you look at your assessment map and it says that you're grading your constructed response question on a 4-point rubric, you would just go down this column and look at these criteria right here. And then the middle column is the 3-point rubric. And then the right-hand column is the 2-point rubric. So you're just going to use this one document for, you could just print it, put it somewhere, and then you're good to go to grade any quarterly assessments that come out in science. So going back to this assessment area, down here is a practice assessment. There's one for 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade, and I've put them into this area because there was some confusion about where to find them. So just today, which is November 1st, I put them into the actual curriculum area. So you can use that to help your kids practice. It's sort of a shortened version of the assessment they're going to see, just so they don't come in cold and they understand the format of the test. And what you really need to be teaching them is that they have to pull information from class and information from those tabs and blend it together, synthesize it to construct a complete answer. That's what we're really looking for. So I hope this tutorial helped. If you have any lingering questions, please feel free to email me. I am Kate Dobrinsky. You can email my coordinator, Valerie Wesner. We'll put our information down in the bottom in the information area so that you can contact us if you need us. And hey, happy sciencing.